time to get down to the brass tacks. My name is Mel Sams and I'm the Managing Associate of Sams CPA. And today we're going to talk about moving and taxes. What effect on your taxes does it have when you move for work? Now, unfortunately, even though the 2018 Tax Cuts and Jobs Act is filled with lots of great stuff for individuals and businesses, one of the things that you'll find that is gone now is the deduction for moving expenses, unless you are a member of the military and meet some certain restrictions. So essentially for most of us, the deduction for moving is now gone in our moving expenses. However, as I've said many times before, that doesn't mean, just because it's gone now, that doesn't mean that if we didn't do it correctly in the past that we can't go back and fix that. So don't forget, we always have that 3-year window in which we can amend returns. So if you've moved in the last 3 years and that wasn't reported on your taxes, there's a good chance that you may have some money left on the table, and it would certainly be worth having a CPA take a look at that to determine what you may have out there. So with that said, I think it's a good idea to talk about what the pre-2018 laws were and rules were about moving expenses and the related deduction. Generally, the move had to be for work. You would have to move from one place to another because of your job. You couldn't just move because, well, I've always wanted to live in Florida and it's beautiful there and I think I'm going to go there and I'm retired. Unfortunately, that would not allow us a moving expense deduction pre-2018. However, if you work in Connecticut and your employer says, hey, there's an opportunity in Florida, we're going to move you down to that office, then we're talking. Then there's something there. But at any rate, you typically had to move more than 50 miles away from your previous home, and your commute from work to home had to increase by a certain amount. So with that said, if your commute from work to home increased more than 50 miles or from home to work, then that would entitle us to the moving expense deduction in most cases. Now, one thing you have to remember too is if your employer reimbursed you for any of these costs, we cannot then deduct them a second time. If we got the reimbursement, that's good enough. We don't then get a deduction on top of that. And sometimes moving expenses have been paid through a qualified plan of the employers. It might be shown on your W-2, and your employer may also provide you with a worksheet that breaks down the costs that they paid on your behalf. So if you meet those criteria and you're able to deduct your moving expenses, you're able to deduct a broad range of things. The cost of the moving company to move your possessions, the cost of lodging and meals while you were traveling to your new home. You can even deduct the cost of a storage unit for up to 30 days beyond the move if you had to rent one because of some thing with your house not being ready or some other circumstance that created that. So the point that I want to drive home on this is that just because the moving expense deduction is now gone doesn't mean you may not be able to go back and amend a return to claim it. But you need to sit down with a CPA, look over what you have. They'll know the questions to ask. Were you reimbursed by your employer? Did you incur expenses out of pocket? Did you move a certain distance away from your previous residence? And if so, you would be then entitled to amend your return for the prior year to claim that. But again, remember, you got the 3-year window from the date return was due to file an amendment. If you have any questions, comments, or ideas for future videos, we would love to hear those. We love getting your feedback. And if you would like to watch our other videos, or if you would like to be notified when new videos become available, please subscribe to our YouTube channel.